Yeah, we are going to discuss continuous charge distribution. If you look at carefully the concepts of electric charges and fields, we can recognize that we deal with the microscopic entities. The charges are microscopic in nature. Accordingly, so far whatever we had a discussion, we considered charges as Q1, Q2, Q3 up to Qn. What does it mean? We haven't considered charges as a continuous one, but it is a discrete in nature. Why we have taken that? Because it is very simple to deal with discrete charges, no need to apply calculus. But in practical, it is not possible for us to deal with microscopic entities like charge. For instance, when we use in our daily life, we worry about what amount of charges are there in a wire, what amount of charges are flowing per second in a wire, and what kind of potential is there in between a resistance or in between a circuit element, whatever it may be. So in all these cases, it is impractical to treat charges as discrete one. We considered as continuous one. So we need to change that. So when we want to change the discrete nature of charges into continuous nature of charges, we need some physical parameters. We need some physical parameter, because when we have total charge which is continuously distributed along a line or on a surface or throughout a volume, we need to find out what is the electric field due to continuous charge distribution. Because in our practical, we may have a system of charges along a line. If you ask me one example, I would say that when charges are distributed uniformly on a very thin straight rod, very thin, I would say the wire, very thin wire, we say, copper wire. It's like a rod only, cylindrical only, very long cylinder. So when we see that kind of charge distribution can be there, then the charges can be distributed uniformly on a thin disc, very thin disc, which will have two dimensional, very thin, I would say. So in that case, we have charges distributed over a surface. In previous case, we had charges distributed over a length. Now in this case, the charges are distributed on a surface whose thickness is very small. Then we can consider charges distributed over a spherical non-conducting body, we can say. Because for this discussion and all, we need not a conducting body, we need non-conducting bodies, because otherwise conducting bodies will they allow the charges through them. So here and all we will be learning only non-conducting body only. So we need to have three very different parameters which we are going to learn first at very first time here. One is linear charge density, surface charge density, and volume charge density. The linear charge density or line charge density, what our book says, line charge density or linear charge, whatever it may be. In some books you will find line, in some book you will find linear charge density. This linear charge density is associated with the charges which are there on a thin, uniformly thin rod, we can say, wire, we can say. In our daily life, we can say very thin wire, as thin as our air, we can say. Then the charges may be distributed on the surface whose thickness is very small. So that is what is called a surface charge density. Surface charge density is denoted by the letter sigma. Linear charge density is denoted by the letter lambda. Lambda, sigma, and the last one rho. The rho is volume charge density. Just to keep in your mind, density, normally in our physics we would use rho as a density. That density is the matter, no? What we say that density of the liquid, we can say in mechanics. This is charge density. What about the distribution of charges, we can say? So, the point number 1, in practice, charges cannot be considered as a discrete one, because we need to deal with the macroscopic entities. So, dealing microscopic entities like charges may not be practical. And for that, we need a branch of mathematics which will help us to find out all these things. That is what is called, yes, that is what is called calculus. Calculus is going to be widely used in our statics and current electricity and all, and in the higher concepts of electricity. So when we see that, as I told you, the first one is line charge density. The formula to find out line charge density is lambda is equal to delta Q by delta L, we can say. Let me write here itself. Lambda is equal to delta Q by delta L, we can say. Delta L. So this is what is line charge density? It is the ratio between the charge to the length. That's all. Charge to the length. What is delta L? Delta L is the small length, we can say. Delta L is the small line element, very small line element. How this graph sheet is divided into 1 square centimeter. In each 1 square centimeter, how it has been divided into 100 square millimeter, like that. The line charges, the line segment of the material, in which or non-conducting material, in which the lines charges are there, can be considered as small elemental length, we can say. That is delta L. What is delta Q? In delta L, what amount of charges are there? That is what is called delta Q. Whenever a small amount of charge is involved, we would put the word delta. Whenever there is a small element of length, we would say delta L. So whenever we say that delta L, then you can easily recollect that by bringing that concept, what is that, the graph sheet in your mind. So if you consider the length of only one length you take, I am not talking about 1 unit square centimeter, I am talking about unit square millimeter. 1 unit millimeter wise you take a lengthy graph sheet. What you will get? You will get a lengthy line. That lengthy line will be divided into unit millimeter square. So each unit millimeter square can be considered as delta L. That's all. Delta Q, how many charges are there in delta L? Since they are microscopic entities, a large amount of charges can be kept on 1 unit length, we can say. Let it be unit 1 millimeter. In 1 millimeter, I can keep several thousand charges on it, because charges are very small in nature. So when we see that line charge density delta, that is lambda is equal to delta Q by delta L. Delta Q by delta L. Then you may ask one question, what is the unit of lambda? Unit of lambda, we can say delta Q is coulomb and L is meter. Then we can say coulomb per meter. Coulomb per meter. So coulomb per meter is the unit of linear charge density. So when there is a charge delta Q be uniformly distributed along a line of length delta L, then linear charge density lambda is equal to, I would say, delta Q by delta L. Delta Q by delta L. Delta Q by delta L. Well, this is for linear charge distribution. What about the surface charge distribution? In surface charge distribution, we call that as a surface charge density. Suppose a charge Q, here let us say charge Q. is spread over the surface, and the blue square I consider as delta S. What is delta S? It's very good. Delta S is elemental surface area. Elemental surface area. Maybe I could have done this analogy of graph sheet here. It would be much example, much sought after example we can say here, because these surfaces, the total surface, when we say yes, the surface is divided into small unit surface, that is what is called a delta S. The blue in color is what is known as delta S. This delta S, it's very similar to 1 unit millimeter square, no? That's why I said. Now, the surface charge density sigma is equal to delta Q. How many charges are there in that small blue area by delta S. What is delta S? Elemental area. What amount of charges are there to the in which what amount of elemental surface area, if you divide that, you will get a del sigma. Sigma is what is known as surface charge density. Surface charge density we can say. What would be the unit? The unit of surface charge density is can we find out that? Yes, sigma is equal to delta Q by delta S. So delta Q charge coulomb by delta S small elemental area meter square, then the unit is coulomb per meter square. Now, can we recall what kind of object will have surface charge density? When a collection of charges distributed uniformly on a thin disk, we can say. Very thin disk, almost like a graph sheet. Okay, very thin disk. This is what is called a surface charge density. Next one, volume charge density. This volume charge density, how I can visualize? You take first what we had a discussion, a lengthy graph sheet in which there are no square centimeters, only square millimeter. 1 square millimeter but linearly. Next we have considered this graph sheet. Graph sheet will have 2-dimensional area, right? So on that, the entire surface of the graph sheet can be considered as S. Then which can be considered as delta S? Delta S is a very small elemental area, we can say 1 millimeter square. 1 millimeter square, or you may even consider as 1 centimeter square also. But which one is apt? Very good. 1 millimeter square is apt, because even in 1 millimeter square we can keep several millions of charges on it. That much small they are. Okay. Well, now what about the volume charge density? In volume charge density, you can say this volume charge density, when a charge of delta Q is distributed over a volume, what kind of surface? Non-conducting surface only. When it is distributed over a volume of V, we can say, we can find out volume charge density. This volume charge density formula is density formula. Rho is equal to delta Q by delta V. Delta Q by delta V, we can say. What is rho? Very good. Rho is volume charge density. Volume charge density is equal to, it is the ratio between the charge to the volume. Then what is the unit? Very good. Coulomb per meter cube. Cm power minus 3. When a charge is distributed inside a spherical non-conducting body, we can call that as surface volume charge density. So we have 3 important parameters to further enhance our knowledge in electric charges and fields. The first one, line charge density. The formula is lambda is equal to delta Q by delta L. Next one, surface charge density. The formula is sigma is equal to delta Q by delta S. Volume charge density rho is equal to delta Q by delta V. Delta Q by delta V. These are the three important parameters which is very, very essential to go further into the field of electric charges and fields, because charges cannot be considered as discrete quantity in practical way. It is discrete only. It is discrete only. But when we deal in our daily life, it cannot be considered as discrete one. It is considered as continuous charge distribution. In continuous charge distribution, there are three. The screen, what you find is volume charge density. On the now surface charge density, the first one, linear charge density. Linear charge density lengthwise, surface charge density area wise, and volume charge density volume wise, we can say. These are the three important things which we can discuss further. What is how these concepts are being involved in the practical applications of electric charges and fields. Om Namah Shivaya.